66 degrees in Detroit as we welcome you to Comerica Park for the Tigers and the Texas Rangers. Kenny Albert, Tom Verducci. Rangers won the series opener last night 5-1, holding the Tigers to just 2 hits. Detroit's 4th consecutive defeat. Tom, there are a couple of young guys on each side. I know you've enjoyed watching over the first month of the season.
Well, you talk about young. How about the youngest player in all of baseball? And that's the right fielder for the Rangers, Nomar Mazara. Just turned 21 years old. You cannot tell by watching this young man play. He looks like a veteran because the game doesn't speed up on him. Has an innate ability to really slow things down, showed good plate presence, and a guy who has shown power as well. A guy who was signed to a record contract as a 16-year-old, thought to be a line drive hitter, but 6'5", he's developing a power stroke. And oh, by the way, when you talk about playing right field, how about this arm? That's not just a right fielder's arm. That's a closer's arm right there. So careful trying to take the extra base on Nomar Mazara. Boy, he's exciting to watch.
As is 24-year-old Nick Castellanos of the Tigers. He leads the American League with a batting average of .371.
Big surprise, too, Kenny. A guy came into this season, .257 career hitter. And as a youngster, you did see some of that anxiety, really chase pitches out of the zone. It's probably too aggressive the last couple of years, but this season, completely different hitter. You're seeing someone with a high comfort level at the plate, making pitchers come into the strike zone, and when they do, he is not missing his pitches. He has shown power to all fields. He is a guy just coming into his own.
And there he is, Nick Castellanos, the Tigers' third baseman, as we get set for the second of this 3-game weekend series in Detroit. Texas Rangers come in with a record of 16-14. Rougned Odor will lead off, followed by Nomar Mazara, then Adrian Beltre, Prince Fielder in the cleanup spot. Ian Desmond bats 5th. Then Mitch Moreland, the first baseman, bottom of the order. Elvis Andrus, the ex-Tiger Brian Holiday, and Delino DeShields will bat 9th. As the Rangers get set to face the 32-year-old right-hander Mike Pelfrey, looking for his first victory in 6 starts as a member of the Detroit Tigers.
Well, his #1 goal is to make this a busy day for the infielders, not the outfielders. Sinker split pitcher, when he's on, the ball's going to be in play a lot. He wants to keep it in the infield.
Tom, our keys to the game, sponsored by Ford.
Well, we're in Motown, right? Hitsville, USA. Let's stick with that theme. For the Rangers, never can say goodbye to Adrian Beltre. I still think he is the fulcrum of this lineup. He just doesn't seem to age. And for the Tigers, yeah, they're uptight, but everything's going to be all right. You know why, Kenny? They're not hitting the last 4 games, but the lineup is just loaded with hitters who will hit.
All right, here we go. Rougned Odor leads off against Mike Pelfrey and takes inside for ball 1. Odor out-hit the Tigers last night. He had 3 hits, Tigers with only 2. He leads the Rangers in both home runs and runs batted in over the first 30 games this season.
I'm just glad you didn't ask me to sing the keys to the game.
Maybe next time.
No shot. This is already a deep count for Odor. Loves to swing the bat. Very aggressive.
Left field and deep. Upton on the warning track. It's out of here. A leadoff home run, 6th of the season for Odor. And the Rangers take an early 1-0 lead.
Instant offense. He is not your prototypical leadoff hitter. Here's the 2-seam fastball running away from Odor, but up in the zone. He gets this pitch down, he's more likely to get his ground ball. Belt high, and it's belted.
So on the 3rd pitch of the game, Odor takes Pelfrey deep. Strike 1 to Mazara.
That guy is a middle-of-the-order hitter, camouflaged in the body of a leadoff hitter.
Pelfrey missing away, 1-1. 4th home run allowed this season by Pelfrey. Allowed only 11 in 30 starts with the Twins last year. Now 2 balls, 1 strike, with Adrian Beltre waiting on deck. Left field, Upton on the run, moving to his right. So Mazara will head back with the count at 2-2.
I said he's got the body of a leadoff hitter. He's probably maybe 5'9" at best, but look at the power in that swing, the recoil on the backswing. I'm telling you, Kenny, there's nobody on this team who hits the ball harder than Odor. And watch again the follow through on this swing. Contact. That's actually a shorter stroke than we saw last night.
A look at the metrics, 378 feet off the bat of Odor. Count is now full with nobody out, top of the first inning. And the Rangers leading 1-0. Payoff pitch from Pelfrey, and this one is whacked to deep right field. So the Rangers go back-to-back to start the game. Odor and then Mazara with his 4th of the season. 2-0 Texas.
And it's the same story for Pelfrey with that 2-seamer up again in the zone. So you see the grip on the 2-seamer and look at the elevation. It's just too high. Boy, was that loud.
So the first 2 Texas Rangers batters go deep. Here's Adrian Beltre, who has hit 416 career home runs, 49th all time. Beltre 0 for 4 in last night's game. 3 for 8 with a home run lifetime against Pelfrey. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Now that sinker from Pelfrey actually has been a problem all year, not just 2 batters into the game. Hitter's hitting almost 400 against that pitch, and that's his bread and butter.
Pop foul off to the right side. Now 2-2.
You know, when he's on, Kenny, he has not just sink but some run on that sinker. And so far today, he's had really neither to speak of.
Center field. This one will stay in the ballpark, 1 away.
Mike hasn't really even been able to get much to his split finger by getting ahead of counts, but here's how he changed his grip. The one on the left you see, that's more of a traditional splitter, but you can see now how much farther he has separated the fingers. It's actually more like a forkball than a splitter. The last couple of years he was with Minnesota. It was actually Eddie Guardado, the former Twins relief pitcher, who showed him that grip. Just to widen those fingers, come out with even less rotation than a true splitter.
Bounce foul to the right side off the bat of Prince Fielder. His career numbers against Pelfrey, more runs batted in than any other player. 13 and 31 at bats. One and 2.
And that's his 3rd pitch, the slider, and that's really, even though he's not going to throw it a lot, he needs, oh, that's a split right there. Watch the drop on this one. Talked about the lack of rotation, very little rotation tumbling down in the zone.
This season, Tom, Prince Fielder has had his greatest success in the first inning of games. He is 9 for 20. In all other innings, he has only 14 hits.
He's had trouble, especially against relief pitching, power pitchers. This is a better matchup for him on Pelfrey.
Pelfrey missing high, now 2-2.
You'll see the extreme shift they have on Prince. I thought last year he started well, really was a different hitter, taking the ball the other way up the middle. This year he's gone back to being more pull conscious, but without the power he had years ago.
Pelfrey wins the battle, 2 away.
Well, if he hasn't had the sinker yet, he certainly has found this forkball here. Watch this one dive. Started about belt high, picked up almost off the ground.
So with 2 away, here's Ian Desmond, the Rangers left fielder, 2 for 4 last night. Fastball in for strike 1. Bounce foul back behind third. 0-2 with 2 outs, top of the first inning. Back-to-back home runs to start the game. Rougned Odor and then Nomar Mazara. Odor took Jordan Zimmerman deep last night and Mike Pelfrey this afternoon.
We talked about Mazara, the youngest player in Major League Baseball. Odor was the youngest player in baseball in 2014 and is still now just the 8th youngest player in baseball. It's a pretty good 1-2 combo.
Odor now 22 years of age. On the ground to third, Castellanos across. And the Rangers are retired after the back-to-back home runs. Odor and Mazara, 2-0 Texas. Kenny Albert, Tom Verducci back in Detroit. Rangers go back-to-back for the first time this season. Second leadoff home run for Odor. He did it in Toronto 4 days ago. As Ian Kinsler takes a called strike from 28-year-old right-hander A.J. Griffin. 0-1. Kinsler had both hits in the game for the Tigers last night. He pops out to the second baseman, Odor. One away. Kinsler will be followed by J.D. Martinez, then Miguel Cabrera. Victor Martinez in the cleanup spot, then Justin Upton, Castellanos, bottom of the order, Saltalamacchia, Ghosts, and Iglesias.
And you're in for a treat watching A.J. Griffin pitch. Why? No one throws a curveball like A.J. Griffin. I call it a table saw of a curveball because it spins really fast but doesn't go anywhere. And as a hitter, see, he doesn't have elite velocity, Griffin, but you have to cover more than 20 miles an hour of velocity difference between the curveball and the fastball.
J.D. Martinez falls behind 0-2. Martinez started the first 27 games of the season for the Tigers, had last night off. Back in the lineup today. 0 for 5 lifetime against Griffin.
It was a mental day off. Didn't even take BP yesterday. And there's that curveball. And Griffin loves to do this. Throw the fastball up in the zone and then come back with the curveball. See the index fingers off the baseball. It actually starts on the same plane as a fastball and then drops. And the key, Kenny, is it spins so fast, it spins similar to a fastball. So you see fastball for the first, 17, 18 feet. And then it just doesn't get there.
8 pitches thrown by Griffin, 7 strikes. 1-2 on Martinez with Cabrera waiting on deck.
I asked AJ where he learned how to throw that pitch. He said, when I was a kid. He said, I taught myself. Maybe that's why nobody else throws it.
Grew up in the San Diego area. Ball 2, says Chris Coccione, the first base umpire.
His thought on that pitch is spin it as hard as I can.
Full count. Griffin did not pitch in the major leagues the last 2 seasons following Tommy John surgery in April of 2014. After he won 14 games in Oakland in 2013. Martinez down on strikes, 2 away.
It's a little baby cutter he got Martinez on. I mean, you just can't sit fastball here on A.J. Griffin. Watch it just move at the end off the barrel of J.D. Martinez. Nice pitch, well located.
Two up, 2 down. Here's Cabrera. 4 for 8 with 2 home runs lifetime against Griffin. As he fouls the first pitch back to the screen, 0-1.
Man, that's an 89-mile-an-hour fastball. First pitch fastball to a guy who loves first pitch fastballs. And he missed it.
And he sends this one into left center for a base hit. First hit in his last 9 at-bats for Cabrera. So a 2-out base runner for the Tigers here in the bottom of the first, as Victor Martinez steps to the plate. Martinez batting .342 from the left side. As you see the shift.
Yeah, the key to that shift is how deep Odor can play at second base. 2 outs. And a lack of speed for Victor Martinez.
There are the numbers. .342 as a left-handed hitter. 5 for 20 from the right side. Last week's American League Player of the Week. A 1-1 to Martinez. Now 2 balls, 1 strike.
He's been swinging the bat better. Justin Upton swinging the bat better. They just got stopped completely cold last night by Cole Hamels, who just put on an absolute clinic.
Hamels now 4-0 this season. 2-2.
It's interesting. I think Hamels really had a good curveball. He had everything working, but especially a good curveball that he went to last night with Bobby Wilson, the former Tiger catcher, behind the plate. And today, another former Tiger catcher behind the plate, Ryan Holiday.
Left field and deep. Desmond on the run, on the warning track, makes the catch to retire Martinez. 1 inning in the books in Detroit. 2-0 Rangers. Top of the second from Comerica Park as Mitch Moreland takes a called strike from Mike Pelfrey, 0-1. Moreland with a hit in 8 of the last 9 games. 1 for 4 last night in the Rangers' 5-1 victory. Moreland now with a hit in 9 of 10 as he leads off the second inning with a base hit to center field.
And that hit you mentioned last night, Kenny, was a ground ball single to left field. And that was another case where he shortened up. You saw the extreme shift against him. 3 singles to left field this year. Not a lot. Last year he only had 4.
So Moreland on at first. Here's Elvis Andrus. 2 hits, drove in a run last night. Three for 8 lifetime against Mike Pelfrey. And Andrus takes strike 1. Rangers with back-to-back home runs to start the game from Rougned Odor and Nomar Mazara.
Not a bad idea by Elvis right there. Bunting for a hit, worst case scenario, to out, still move up the runner. I would look for him here now to use that hole on the right hand side. He has a very good stroke the other way. Pelfrey with that sinker and split, working the ball down and away.
Well, Tom, you have to go all the way back to April of 2001. The last time the Rangers opened a game with back-to-back home runs, Rusty Greer and Randy Velarde.
Much more veteran than the pair we had today. 22 and 21. Go 1-2.
Mazara had not yet turned 6 the last time the Rangers led off a game with back-to-back homers.
He's probably a prospect even then. Signed at 16 years old. Almost a $5 million bonus at the time, the highest ever for an international player. Rangers knew what they had.
Andrews stat on strike, second strikeout for Pelfrey.
Nice job by Mike, knowing he's trying to work the ball the other way. Watch him tie him up here. Nice run inside, very well located.
With one away, here's Brian Holiday. You mentioned both catchers on the Rangers roster. Ex-Tigers, very recent ex-Tigers.
Yeah. You talk about local knowledge. And I asked Brad Ausmus, the Tigers manager, about having a couple of former players, catchers on the other side. He said, well, we did change all of our signs. They know all of our pickoff plays and bunt defenses. All those signs had to be changed. I think the biggest advantage is they know the hitters so well.
Texas acquired Holiday from the Tigers in exchange for Wilson on March 29th, 5 weeks ago. And then Wilson sent back to Texas 4 days ago.
Well, I'm so confused who Bobby Wilson's playing for today. He's changed teams 7 times in the last 3.5 years. The Rangers have acquired him 3 times in the last 10 months. And I could see why, watching him call that game last night for Cole Hamels. I didn't see Cole Hamels shake off a pitch the whole night. His pitch calling and pitch framing. He did get an RBI single as well. There's Bobby right there. So valuable to have.
Hamels went 7 innings, allowed just 1 hit, struck out 9. Popped into right. J.D. Martinez on the run in foul territory, makes the catch for out number 2. Our MLB on FS1 doubleheader continues next. The teams with the top 2 records of the National League square off. Bryce Harper and the Nationals take on Anthony Rizzo and the Cubs. It's all next on FS1, or watch it live on Fox Sports Go. The Cubs at 22-6. Nationals 19-10 lead the National League East.
Cubs off to the best start in the NL since the '55 Dodgers. An iconic team, world championship. The only one out of Brooklyn.
And the Chicago White Sox, Tom, with the best record in the American League at 20-10.
Like somebody said the other day, there were 4 of the 6 first place teams were all playing in Chicago on the same day. Chicago, the center of the baseball universe.
1-1 on Delano DeShields, who does not have a hit in his last 9 at bats. A leadoff single from Moreland here in the top of the 2nd inning. And then Pelfrey struck out Andrews, and Holiday fouled out. So now 2 away. Two and 1.
You know, last year, Kenny, when Rangers got off to a poor start, DeShields was the catalyst to get them going. Put him in the leadoff position. It was really his game, especially with the legs, that got them going. This year, Jeff Bannister turned to Rougned Odor as the leadoff hitter. With the long ball, the extra base hits, being the catalyst.
Odor getting things started for the Rangers today with a leadoff home run. Odor waiting on deck should DeShields reach.
And that's why you see a lot of guys with leadoff skills. If they're not leading off, put them in the 9-hole. DeShields and Odor back to back. It's like a double leadoff hitter.
Castellanos. And that will do it for the Rangers in the second. Second inning in Detroit. Justin Upton will lead off for the Tigers against A.J. Griffin. Upton's 7-game hit streak came to an end last night when he went 0 for 3. Batting .246 in his first year with the Tigers. 3-time All-Star. The 0-2, and Upton strikes out on 3 pitches. Strikes out for the 43rd time this season, most of the American League.
Here's the first major league start for A.J. Griffin. Didn't start well. Buster Posey takes him yard. The amazing thing is not that he gave up the home run. What happened afterward? He came into the dugout and shouted to his Oakland teammates, "Fellas, they're not going to score again off of me." Remember, it's his first major league game. And you know what? They didn't score again off him. I asked him about that. He said, well, it helps to be a little crazy. He is one cool cat.
Facing the American League's leading hitter, Nick Castellanos. Batting .371. 6th in the league with 22 runs batted in 27 games. Right center. 2 away as the catch is made by DeShields to retire Castellanos. So now with 2 outs, here's Jared Saltalamacchia. 6 home runs, which leads the Tigers We were talking about the shift before the game time. 19% around Major League Baseball this year. Teams shift 19% of the time, up from 10.5% last year.
Yeah, everybody's buying into the metrics. It was interesting, though, when I talked with Ron Wotus, the bench coach of San Francisco Giants. See the walk right there. 4-pitch walk, 2 outs, bases empty. Not exactly what he had in mind, but Ron Wotus explained to me he thinks that more hitters are adjusting to the shift and some of the metrics are outdated. So the Giants have been more along the lines of shading rather than full-on shifts. And it's interesting, too, the teams that shift the most, the Yankees and the Astros, have the worst batting average on balls in play against their shifting defenses. Still evolving.
Here's Anthony Coase with 2 away, and he sets this one into left center. It will roll to the wall. Here comes Saltalamacchia. He will score easily. And standing at third is Goes. His 7th run batted in of the season as the Tigers cut the Rangers lead in half.
Yeah, and originally I thought he wasn't going to score easily. There's the changeup, stays up to Anthony Goes, and watch how this ball will carry him through the legs of DeShields. I think if he fields this cleanly, you have at least a shot at Saltalamacchia, the catcher, running at home plate.
So the 2-out walk comes back to Hawk Griffin as the Tigers score a run. Strike 1 to Iglesias. Jose 0 for his last 9. And that will do it for the Tigers in the second. They score a run. When we come back, we will chat with the future Hall of Famer, Pudge Rodriguez. Top of the 3rd inning in Detroit as Rougned Odor takes strike 1 from Mike Pelfrey. Odor led off the game with a home run, his team leading 6th of the season. And then Nomar Mazara followed with a home run as the Rangers went back-to-back to start the game. And we're pleased to be joined in the booth by a future Hall of Famer. He played for both the Rangers and the Tigers. Pudge Rodriguez, thanks for
Thank you for having me.
Joining us here in the third inning.
Thank you. Honored to be here.
Pudge now a special assistant to Rangers general manager John Daniels, and you also do some television work in the studio back home in Texas.
Yeah, that's right. You know, I just I work a little bit with the minor leaguers and the catchers with the Rangers, and doing 81 pre and post game this year, so I'm very busy.
And here you are wearing a Tigers shirt, and you had a Tigers cap on before the game.
I know.
I'm sure nobody told you about that from the Texas side.
They was all over me after I threw the first pitch, but you know, I gotta say that I played 5 years here too. You know.
Now, how many ceremonial first pitches did you catch throughout your career on the other end of it today?
I've been catching a lot. You know, I almost threw this one to second base today, but I decided to go back to the mound and do it.
And we saw you with your former teammate Justin Verlander.
Right.
Here's the 1-2, and Odor strikes out. Take us back to that day in 2007 when you caught his first career no-hitter.
Well, you know, it was a very unique day because you know, in the bullpen, it was all over the place. You know, he didn't throw any strikes, and I don't know, for some reason that always happens. You know, when you catching a non-hitter, the guy in the bullpen is throwing pitches all over the place. But that was a great moment. You know, he was dealing all night long. Got a great fastball. You know, the 98, 100 mile an hour in the 8th inning, and that last pitch was, you know, in the upper 90s. So it was a really, really good night.
Well, you caught 62 of Justin's starts, 100 miles an hour. It seemed like a no-hitter most any time he took the mound.
Terrific play by Kinsler, and Mazzara is retired.
And 46 times you caught Nolan Ryan.
Nolan Ryan.
So you tell me, Justin Verlander in his prime, Nolan Ryan, his prime was still later in his career. Compare them.
Well, you know, two different pitchers. You know, I think Nolan was more like a fastball pitcher, throws the fastball at the time. But Verlander, even though that he has this plus 90 mile an hour fastball, he had a great curveball, a great changeup, and we're using the changeup a lot to inside to right-hander hitters. But compared the two, I mean, it's totally two different, two good ones. Two power pitchers that challenge every hitter, and they're not afraid to anybody. They just go out there and throw the fastball in and out.
Adrian Beltre at the plate with 2 outs, top of the 3rd inning, as we chat with the great Pudge Rodriguez, who is here in Detroit for the weekend series.
Also, we have to mention Joel Sumaya, that we have him here at the bullpen throwing 108.
Is that the hardest you ever caught?
Yeah.
Backhanded by Iglesias. Out at first is Beltre. So that will end the inning.
That's close.
Pudge, can you stick with us for the bottom half?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Here's one more look. Did the throw beat Beltre?
Nope.
What do you think, Tom?
It's definitely worth the challenge, I would think, on the Texas side. Taking a look at it right now. This is where you want a definitive call from your replay official. You know, don't give me maybe, because this early in the game, low leverage spot, 2 outs, nobody on base. You would have 1 on if you won the challenge. You got to make sure this is a challenge you know you can win. And it's not.
All right, so the Rangers will not challenge. A 1-2-3 third for Mike Pelfrey. Ian Kinsler leading off for the Tigers here in the bottom of the third, with the Rangers out on top 2-1. Kenny Albert, Tom Verducci, and Pudge Rodriguez in the broadcast booth with us. Kinsler popped out to second his first time up. Terrific play by Andrews. One away. Pudge, we talked to Brad Ausmus, the Tigers manager, before the game, and your careers kind of paralleled each other. He played for 18 seasons, and he said, I thought I had a good arm until I first saw Pudge.
Well, first of all, he was an everyday player. I say, never hurts. Plays hard every day, and but I respect him a lot. He has a great career. Play 18 seasons behind the plate is not easy, and he did it. He keeping himself in great shape, and I'm very happy that he's doing what he loves. Manage the Tigers.
You two were here at the same time in Detroit. In fact, he told us a story when he got here. You had to throw down to second base. He said, I never saw anybody throw like that. It never got higher than the pitcher's knee all the way to second base.
I don't know. That's one of those four-seam, grip. I guess at that time that I threw that ball perfect.
Martinez grounds out to Odor for out number 2. As far as most games caught in Major League history, there you are at the top of the list. Brad Ausmus, the 7th most. Some pretty impressive names on that list.
It is. I mean, very impressive. I respect all of them. Jason Kendall, look, I mean, he also another durable catcher. Never, plays every day, play average, 140 games a year, day in and day out. Even night games at the day game. So, but I was, guy that I love to keeping myself in shape and love the game of baseball. Never like to be sitting on the bench. I just always want to play and just try to do my job every day.
Well, let me ask you about that, because when we saw that list of all those catchers, a lot of guys who went on to be managers: Bob Boone, Tony Pena, Brad Ausmus. Is that something that ever came across your mind?
Yeah, it is. When the opportunity comes, I might probably sit down and think about it, consider it. But you're right. There's so many great managers. All of them are catchers, I guess, because we study the game so much, and we can see the game from behind the plate and anticipate pretty much all the playing is going to happen. But let's see, when the opportunity comes, I might take the opportunity. That'd be great.
When you think back, you don't have to name one, but who are some of the best managers that you enjoyed playing for?
Well, Jim Leyland, where I play here, he was a great manager. I mean, the way the chemistry that he bring into the ball club, the adrenaline that he bring, being in the bench, being in the clubhouse, being in the inside of the clubhouse, and sit down with all of us, like another player, and just supporting each other from 9 innings in the bench. To me, he was one of the best ones. Johnny Oakes, also a great manager. Jack McKeon in 03 when we win in the World Series. Old school managers, kind of was great to play with.
And when you came to Detroit, the team was down, but in a couple of years, there you were in the World Series, 2006.
Yeah. It was a decision then. When I sat down with my family, and my wife said, "Are you going to Detroit? I mean, you in 2003, you a winner, and they're losing 116. I mean, are you sure you want to go there?" I said, "Yes, I want to go there." Because I knew that the talent is there. Good city, great ballpark, great fans. I think this is one of the best fans in baseball. They always come to the park and support the Tigers. Winning or losing, they come to the park, and that's one of the best. The best thing to come here and play every day.
And the money wasn't bad either.
No.
One thing Mr. Illich has done here, right?
Yeah, I'm glad.
Is to go out there and go bring in big name, big money, talent.
Very humble to say that, but yes, it was good. After I came to the ball club, we traded Guillen, and then Maggie Ordonez came, Polanco, and then we brought Justin Verlander from minor leagues and become the Justin Verlander that is today. A great pitcher. I think one of the reasons that we in the World Series in 06 is because of the pitching staff that we have at the time.
Called off to the left side. Cabrera on at first following an infield single. There's Justin Verlander scheduled to start tomorrow's game for the Tigers. His second no-hitter, Pudge, was on this date on May 7th, 2011 in Toronto.
Okay. Yeah, he's he's going through some little struggles right now, but I think he's going to be fine. He's nothing to worry about him. There's nothing to worry about him. He's going to be a guy that he's going to end up having a great year. He's going to be durable. He's going to be there every single start. And, it's not, he mentioned last week that he's not too far to be okay. And I can see that, he's very close.
Verlander 2-3 in 6 starts. How about Jordan Zimmerman? What a start to his season.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. I played with him in Washington for 2 years, and I had the chance to catch him. And he's a great pitcher. I mean, he's a guy that throws the fastball, in and out in any count, and he got a great slider. But what I like from Jordan is that he's a very quick pitcher. He likes to work fast. And when you have a pitcher to work fast, you don't have too much time to think as a hitter. So that's why he's dominating so much.
Is that something you would work with pitchers on? Because I watch a guy like Mike Pelfrey with runners on base. He tends to slow the game down.
I hate that. I mean, I love to have a pitcher to, work from, the catchers throw the ball, get in the rubber, and throw the ball back to me. Because the less the pitcher think, the better pitcher is going to do. The better is going to be the pitch. So to me, that's one of the things that I worked and I did when I was a catcher. And when I talk to Holiday or our catchers here, Chirino, I always tell them, make sure before the game, tell them that they're keeping the pace as fast as in the game, so we can pitch faster.
Griffin running into trouble here in the third. He retired the first 2 Tigers. Cabrera with an infield single. A walk to Victor Martinez. There's Castellanos waiting on deck.
Well, the best example was last night. Cole Hamels. He dominated because he's quick. He pitched fast.
The 3-1 to Upton. Missing away. Back-to-back walks. And the bases are full of Tigers.
This may be a time where Pudge Rodriguez might go out to the mound and talk to his pitcher.
Well, first of all, throw a hard ball back to the
I wish they had a gun on some
him.
of those throws you throw back to the pitcher. You get your message across without saying anything.
Yeah, this is a time right now that the pitcher needs a break coming down. I think that is a great move from Doug to go and talk to him, just to calm him down. It's nothing major. Just make sure go back to bases and stay down, get ahead in the count, and try to make the pitches.
But got to be careful with this guy right now. Castellanos loves swinging early in the count, especially first pitch. So you can't just lay something over here first pitch.
Well, you need to stay away from the middle of the plate with this guy.
Castellanos flying out to the center fielder to Shields. His first time up. 2 outs, bases loaded. Cabrera, Martinez, Upton. First pitch to Castellanos. Base hit left center. 1 run scores. Second run comes in. RBIs number 23 and 24 for Castellanos. The Tigers take a 3-2 lead.
And that was a matchup in favor of Detroit. Griffin really wanted to get ahead, and again, Castellanos, such an aggressive hitter, concedes nothing. Not a terrible pitch, but enough up for Castellanos to go out and reach it.
Well, you just say it.
He looks to me, Pudge, even last year, though, he was a very aggressive hitter, Castellanos, but aggressive outside of the zone. He's done a much better job being aggressive in the zone this year.
Yeah. That's good. I mean, it's nothing wrong to be aggressive, but as long as you're aggressive in the hitting area, that's what you need.
So Griffin has retired the first 2 Tigers in each inning. All 7 base runners have come with 2 outs.
Yeah, and now Holiday saw something here. He wants the trainer to come out and take a look at A.J. Griffin.
Along with manager Jeff Bannister.
Really didn't give anything away there, but certainly Holiday saw something, went out there pretty quickly, and that's it.
Leg.
So that will be all for A.J. Griffin. Pudge, thanks for taking some time.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Best of luck and enjoy the rest of the weekend in Detroit.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Our pleasure.
Appreciate it.
All right, Pudge Rodriguez, first as a Texas Ranger, and then here in Detroit as a member of the Tigers. Who was recalled from AAA yesterday out of the bullpen here in the bottom of the 3rd inning on in relief of the injured A.J. Griffin, who retired the first 2 Tigers here in the 3rd, but has allowed 4 consecutive base runners. Griffin threw 53 pitches in his 6th start as a Ranger.
And Renato's a guy trained as a starting pitcher who can give you length in this game. Guy came up out of college, highly thought of with a big power arm, doesn't quite throw as hard, has changed some mechanics. Fastball, curveball primarily, mixing the changeup, and once in a while a slider. And we saw Castellanos get that base hit. To me, I say he looks like a different hitter. He is to me. Go back to last year when he struggled. I want you to watch the bat. It really doesn't move much in his setup. He's very tense at the plate. This year, look how relaxed he is. The movement and rhythm with his hands, his body language alone is telling you he's a much more relaxed hitter, and the numbers show it.
Castellanos drove in a pair of runs to give the Tigers the lead. Here's Jared Saltalamacchia, who walked, came around to score back in the second inning. An infield single off the bat of Cabrera. Back-to-back walks, and then a two-out single from Castellanos. A 1-2, and that will finally end the inning. The Tigers score 2. Castellanos drove in both. There's Nick Castellanos, who has given the Tigers a 3-2 lead. 2 runs on 3 hits for the Rangers, 3 runs on 3 hits for the Tigers as we move to the 4th, and Prince Fielder leads off against Mike Pelfrey, who allowed back-to-back home runs to start the game. Since then, Tom, he has retired 9 of the last 10 Rangers.
Yeah, once again, getting back to his ground balls. 2 nice plays last inning by his middle infielders.
We mentioned earlier, Fielder with more runs batted in against Pelfrey throughout his career than any other major leaguer. Fielder struck out back in the 1st inning today. A 1-1 from Pelfrey, missing away, ball 2.
So far, the power just has not been there for Prince. 4% of his fly balls have gone out this year for home runs. That's half of what it was last year.
He has hit only 2 home runs over his first 31 games.
Well, this has not been a problem today for Pelfrey. That split. And Prince already has seen a handful of really good ones out of Pelfrey.
Bounce to the right side into the shift, and Fielder is 0 for 2 as we head to Los Angeles for a game break. Kevin Burkhardt. Wow, thanks, Kevin. Dodgers looking to get back to 500. They've dropped 8 of their last 10.
79-0. That's a pretty good number.
Desmond up the middle for a 1-out base hit. You can't get much better than 79-0. Pelfrey had retired 7 straight prior to the Desmond single. So now Mitch Moreland steps in. Moreland singled up the middle back in the 2nd inning. Pelfrey and the Tigers lead 3-2, top of the 4th inning. Pelfrey, Tom, this is incredible. Only 1 win over his last 24 starts. And it came against the Rangers back in August of last season in Minnesota.
It's been a long time since that win. 13 starts.
Only 6 quality starts over those 24. In that win over the Rangers, he allowed only 1 earned run in 7 innings last August. Spent his first 7 seasons with the New York Mets. He had a record of 50-54 in the National League. Just 11-31 in the American League with the Twins and Tigers.
This guy who had Tommy John surgery, as did A.J. Griffin, back in 2012, and he really has been a different pitcher since then. Basically got rid of his 4-seam fastball. He said after the surgery it just wasn't the same. And now a heavy dose of sinkers. He'll throw sinkers more than 2/3 of his pitches. Although today, I think, Kenny, because he came out without real good command of that sinker, we're seeing more sliders and more splitters.
And he has not seen much run support this season. Lowest in all of baseball, but his teammates have scored 3 runs for him today over the first 3 innings.
You see he's paying a lot of attention to Ian Desmond. You can run on Mike Pelfrey. Slow to the plate. And Desmond is a guy who will get a bag.
5 for 6 this year. Ground ball to the right side. And the Tigers turn 2. Middle of the 4th in Detroit. A 9-pitch inning for Pelfrey. Bottom of the fourth from Comerica Park in Detroit. Kenny Albert, Tom Verducci. Tigers with a 3-2 lead on the Rangers. Anthony goes. Tripled in a run back in the second inning for the Tigers. He'll be followed by Iglesias and Kinsler. Anthony Renato on in relief of A.J. Griffin. We have not yet received word on Griffin's injury, but we'll pass it along as soon as we do.
A lot of curveballs on display here at Comerica the last 2 days. Hamels last night. Griffin before he had to exit with that apparent injury. And now Renato. Here's our only clue of what maybe happened with A.J. Griffin. Just kind of feeling that shoulder there.
And that ends a streak, Tom. Griffin had gone at least 5 innings in 33 consecutive starts. That was the third longest among active pitchers behind Jake Arrieta and Madison Bumgarner.
Yeah, I mean, the shame obviously for any pitcher, but especially for AJ, who had Tommy John surgery, missed another year with shoulder problems. Let go by Oakland really because of all the injury history. Oakland signed Rich Hill as a free agent, took AJ off the roster. The Texas Rangers jumped in. They pitched great in spring training and throughout the month of April. Just hope it's nothing major again with a guy who's had a long way back to the big leagues.
Signed a minor league deal with the Rangers in December. Was a non-roster invitee to spring training. That was off to a terrific start. Leadoff walk to goes. Here's Iglesias, who lays down the bunt. Renato quickly off the mound. Moving to second on the sacrifice is Goes. Come out to the ballpark on May 14th and 15th for Major League Baseball's first annual Play Ball Weekend, proudly supported by Chevrolet and Scotts. For more information on Play Ball Weekend activities and to get your tickets, visit MLB.com/tickets.
I got to believe that Iglesias is bunting on his own there for a hit. He's an excellent bunter, does get some base hits, gets a ton of infield hits. You will not typically see a full-on sacrifice bunt in the 4th inning of an American League game.
Kinsler 0 for 2. Tom, we have been told it is right shoulder stiffness. That is why A.J. Griffin left the game in the 3rd inning.
You know, you mentioned his streak, which comes to an end today, pitching at least 5 innings. His teams have won 67% of his starts, A.J. Griffin. Jeff Bannister, the manager, pointing out to us, you know, at some point, those numbers you have to buy into. Guys just have a knack of keeping a team in a game.
Kinsler, deep left field. This one is gone. A 2-run shot, number 6 on the year for the ex-Ranger Ian Kinsler, extending the Tigers' lead to 5-2.
He can hit off the back leg as well as anybody in baseball. 2-0 fastball up. Stay back behind the baseball. Kinsler and Lorenzo Cain do this better than anybody else. They do not get out on their front side. Stays on balance. Boy, we've seen Ian Kinsler do that so many times. Pull field power, back leg hitter. What a career he's having.
J.D. Martinez 0 for 2.
Kinsler, in his own way, reminds me a little bit of Adrian Beltre in that, they extend their prime through their 30s, and for a middle infielder, that's highly unusual. Durability being really an undervalued skill in baseball. Beltre and Kinsler are two of those players who are putting up big numbers, play every day, year after their year into their 30s, and productive.
Broken back grounder. Here's Beltre for out number 2. And Tom, when you talk about the career of Ian Kinsler, who spent his first 8 seasons with the Rangers, take a look at those numbers. He's on pace to become the 7th fastest to 200 home runs, 1,000 runs, and 200 stolen bases. And there are some very impressive names on that list.
No signs of slowing down, if anything, just maintaining an elite level. I remember when he was traded here from the Rangers, coming to a bigger ballpark, he actually dropped a little bit of weight, went back to hitting to all fields.
Miguel Cabrera with his 3rd hit of the day.
And I think with Ian losing the weight coming here to Detroit has served him well through these years.
Here's Victor Martinez, walked and scored his last time up. Getting back to Kinsler, the 6 names on that list: Willie Mays, Barry and Bobby Bonds, Alex Rodriguez, Carlos Beltran, and Larry Walker. Some pretty good company.
That's great company. Obviously, you're talking about some great all-around players.
And a happy 85th birthday, Willie Mays, celebrating his 85th yesterday.
I didn't hear many middle infielders in that list you rattled off for me.
No.
That's the difference.
Well, A-Rod used to be a middle infielder.
Yeah, but you ask any baseball personnel guy, and they say the actuarial tables for guys who play a lot in the middle infield, they begin to fall off a cliff. 32, 33, Robbie Alomar, Hall of Famer, a good example of that.
Nationals Cubs coming up following the Tigers and the Rangers here on FS1. Miguel Cabrera, the runner on first. Easy play for Moreland, but the Tigers add to their lead as Ian Kinsler goes deep. It is now 5-2 Detroit. Top of the 5th in Detroit. Elvis Andrus leading off against Mike Pelfrey. Takes a called strike. Andrus struck out his first time up back in the 2nd inning. Ian Kinsler with a 2-run shot, extending the Tigers' lead to 5-2. The 1-1 from Pelfrey fell back to the screen. Now 1-2.
Elvis is one of those guys that last night he had one of those games that just pop up from time to time. Forgot how many outs there were on what should have been a double play. Made a careless error late in the game. Great player with great skills, just sometimes has these brain cramps on the bases, in the field, and at bat.
After a rough start, Mike Pelfrey has settled down.
Yeah, well, you need to know again, he has to keep the ball on the ground. First 3 batters, 3 fly balls. 12 batters since then, 0 fly balls. He's going up with the fastball here.
Fouled off down the right field line. Count remains 1-2 on Andrus. He'll be followed by Holiday and then DeShields.
Elvis has 2 errors this year. He has 6 E's in his family. His father, his mother, 2 brothers, a sister, and himself. All begin with the letter E.
Charging is Iglesias. 1 E in his last name. And he throws out Elvis Andrus. Tonight, NASCAR is back on FS1 as the circuit heads to Kansas for Racing Under the Lights at the GoBowling.com 400. Jimmy Johnson will look to defend his title from last year. It all begins at 7 Eastern only on FS1, or watch it live on Fox Sports Go. One away, here's Brian Holiday, fouled out to J.D. Martinez, the right fielder, his first time up.
For the sake of accuracy, let me correct myself. There was one other fly ball. Holiday hit that one after that first inning staccato of fly balls. And that's been it. Why not use that infield behind you when you've got gloves like Iglesias and Kinsler, right?
The 0-2 from Pelfrey, missing high. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Twice now you saw him go there to that elevated sinker with 2 strikes. Make sure it's out of the zone. Maybe you get a chase. Changes the eye level of the hitter. You can go back downstairs now. Mike takes that forkball grip to start out with. He wants to change it, changes it in the glove.
The 2-2 from Pelfrey, missing away, and the count is full. Pelfrey lost his first 4 starts as a Tiger. And no decision on Sunday against his former club, the Twins, in Minnesota. He lasted only 4 innings. Pitching with a 5-2 lead today as Holiday pops out to the second baseman Kinsler for out number 2.
I love watching Miguel Cabrera and Adrian Beltre play. They both have this trick in the same bag. This is to pop up to second base all the way. And watch Miggy over here at first base. I got it. He's not even close to the baseball. He's just having fun. best line I heard from Miggy. And there's a lot of good ones, obviously, about the way he can hit. Jim Leyland used to always say he's got a good face, a good baseball face.
When we asked Pudge Rodriguez about his favorite managers, first name he mentioned, Jim Leyland. Iglesias. A 1-2-3 fifth inning for Mike Pelfrey here in Detroit. Justin Upton leads off for the Tigers here in the bottom of the fifth inning. Detroit with a 5-2 lead after falling behind 2-0 on the first 9 pitches of the game. Back-to-back home runs to start the game from Odor and Mazzara. But the Tigers with a run in the second, 2 in the third, 2 more in the fourth. Upton has struck out and walked. Two and one.
Renado's really been tempting fate in his short time in this game. Getting behind, got burned on the 2-0 pitch to Kinsler. Working behind to this lineup is asking for trouble. Another hitter's count coming up.
Castellanos on deck. Drove in 2 back in the third inning. Upton walks for the second time today. As we take you back to the bottom of the third.
Bases loaded, first pitch single. Good balance by Castellanos. He's really grown up so fast as a hitter. Here's an incredible number for you. Think about hitting the ball in play. Most hitters average around 298, 299. 443 when he puts the ball in play.
Wow.
How do you do that? Well, he's 4th in line drive percentage. It's a lot of line drives to build a number like that.
Castellanos has increased his batting average from last season coming into the game today by 116 points from 255 to 371 and now at 374.
And he's not a patient hitter. He has 3 walks this year. But the difference we talked about is being aggressive in the zone. See Wally Joyner, the hitting coach there. He said when a pitcher comes into the game, Nick has one question for him. In the past, it might have been about what kind of stuff a pitcher throws. Now, all he says is just make him get it into the zone, right? It doesn't matter what it is. It's more about Nick controlling the strike zone than it is trying to decipher pitch patterns and sequencing from what a pitcher is throwing. Still very aggressive, but swings in the zone rather than out of it.
He has only seen 5 pitches in his 3 at-bats so far today. Here's number 6, and it misses high for ball 1.
They took this kid in the first round, and the bat was the biggest skill of all. And you see the jump, the start this season compared to last season, night and day.
Two and two.
The difference too on defense. He's gotten better. He's improved defensively, but they're still in a situation where Brad Ausmus will take him off the field with a lead late in the game. Not like what Brad said. That's something that bothers Castellanos. He wants to be a 9-inning player, working on his defense to get there.
Full count.
You see Renato really struggling with command. 2 foundations in pitching in the big leagues. Number 1, you have to be able to have fastball command. And number 2, to really excel, you have to be able to throw breaking pitches for strikes when you're behind on the count. So far, Renato in this game hasn't been able to do either.
Runner goes, and Castellanos.
And Renato got a break there. Caught the
fouled it
bat.
off.
Another pitch well out of the zone. Ball 4 on the 4-seam fastball, and yet it ticks off the barrel.
Up and on the move. Ball 4 to Castellanos, first and second with nobody out as we head for a game break with Kevin Burkhardt. Kevin. All right, thanks, Kevin. Red Sox tied atop the American League East with the Orioles. Yankees looking to get back on track. They've lost 7 of 10.
Well, when you have this American League figured out, Kenny, just let me know.
I will.
Because I don't. I think anybody does.
Back-to-back walks to start the inning. Saltalamacchia at the plate.
There's the shift. Great low ball hitter. Really have to elevate with velocity above his hands. Tremendous power to all fields on pitches down.
Shoots it into left. Desmond. One away. Anthony Renato on in relief of A.J. Griffin. Rangers starter suffered some right shoulder stiffness back in the 3rd inning. Left the game after going just 2 2/3. Here's Anthony Gose. Tripled in a run back in the 2nd inning to put the Tigers on the board. Two on, 1 out. First pitch to Gose in for a called strike, 0-1. Upton the runner on second. Castellanos at first.
Different game when you get ahead on the count. Poured in the first pitch strike to Saltalamacchia. Now gets ahead here 0-2. When you look at the numbers, hitting is so count dependent. That's typically why. You get 2 strikes on a hitter, and now you have to cover a much wider area. Those almost took the bait on the pitch up.
1 ball, 2 strike count. 1 out, bottom of the 5th inning. Iglesias on deck. 2-2. In case you joined us late, this is what took place back in the 3rd inning. The last pitch thrown by Texas starter A.J. Griffin.
And you saw him just kind of shake the arm there, and something's not right. And obviously, don't want to take any chance with any pitcher, but especially pitcher lost basically 2 seasons with elbow and shoulder injuries.
Moving to his right is Desmond in foul territory. Makes the play for out number 2. So back-to-back walks, and then Renato has retired. Saltalamacchia and goes. Here's Jose Iglesias. Sacrifice bunt his last time up. Iglesias 0 for his last 10. Upton at second. Castellanos takes his lead off first. Strike 1 to Iglesias.
You know, the one thing as an opposing infielder with Iglesias, he gets out of the box so quickly from the right-hand side. He runs very well, but his swing almost gets him off to a running start. He puts pressure on infielders on routine ground balls. .29% of his career hits have not left the infield.
Wow.
Now, that's a staggering percentage of hits. Hits a ton of ground balls. Has great bat to ball skills. Really excellent contact hitter. Generally, the ball's going to bounce 4 or 5 times. He's got a chance to beat it out.
Now 1-2 on Iglesias. 2 outs, bottom of the 5th inning. Kenny Albert, Tom Verducci from Comerica Park. He and Kinsler waiting on deck should Iglesias reach. Kinsler with a 2-run shot off Renato in the 4th inning. 25th pitch of this inning. There will be a 26th.
Yeah, he's got to be more aggressive here. You said it, Kinsler on deck. You've got 2 strikes, 2 outs. Good contact hitter, but a guy who will chase. And those last 2 pitches were a ball as soon as they left Renato's hand.
Down the right field line, foul.
He will swing at most anything, as you saw right there.
The 2-2 foul back to the screen.
This could go on a while. Okay, he doesn't like to strike out. 5th in the league in contact percentage. Just about 90% of the time he swings the bat, he's going to get a piece of the ball.
4 foul balls this at bat. Now 5.
He's probably seen, I don't know, 6, 7 pitches out of the strike zone in this at bat. He's still up there with a 2-2 count.
Ninth pitch of the at-bat. And Renato wins the battle as he strikes out Iglesias. Tigers strand 2 in the 5th. They lead 5-2. We move to the 6th in Detroit, top of the order for the Texas Rangers, who trail 5-2. Rougned Odor takes a called strike. Odor led off the game with a home run on the 3rd pitch he saw from Pelfrey. And then Pelfrey struck him out in the 3rd inning. Odor, Mazara, and Beltre for the Rangers here in the 6th. Following the back-to-back home runs, Tom, Pelfrey has faced only one batter above the minimum.
Manageable pitch count there, as you see, it's 75.
Odor reaches out and has his 2nd base hit of the game. And now greater coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile as Mazara steps to the plate. How about this? Odor and Mazara, the first pair of players 22 years of age or younger to start a game with back-to-back home runs ever.
Ever. It's a great stat. Saw history today.
Thanks to our friends at Stats LLC. First pitch to Mazara, missing low. And how about this one? They also passed along the last time a team hit back-to-back homers to start a game against the Tigers. You have to go back to August of '91. Devon White and Roberto Alomar with back-to-back home runs in the 1st inning against Bill Gullickson in Detroit. Gullickson then drilled the 3rd batter of the game, Joe Carter, and was ejected by umpire Rocky Rowe.
Oh, those were the days. Yeah, I like this move by Brad Ausmus here. I mean, today's game is so much about generally the 6th inning, sometimes the 5th inning, but when that lineup turns around for a 3rd time, as a manager, you really have to be prepared to get your starter instead of really waiting for things to fall apart. Just in case. You saw them throwing, not real hot just yet, but the difference when a starter faces a lineup a 3rd time as opposed to a relief pitcher for the 1st time, it's an enormous gap in terms of the OPS, the production of the hitters.
Belfry's longest outing this season, 6 2/3, 2 starts ago. Hard hit ball into left center. Around third is Odor, and he will score. Second run batted in of the game for Mazara. It is now 5-3 Detroit.
And that'll be thrown a little bit harder. 2-0, split-fingered fastball, a hanger. Nice job by Mazara. Boy, he's a good-looking hitter. And to me, there should be an error on this play because he's not going to be sent here, Odor. You see him start to break it down. Now he's going to be sent when the ball is mishandled out in that outfield.
So Odor and Mazara have combined to drive in all 3 Texas runs today. Here's Beltre, he takes strike 1.
Boy, if you're a Rangers fan, you can dream on those 2 guys, huh? Mazara, the youngest player in the big leagues at 21. Odor, the 8th youngest player in the big leagues at 22. They were probably watching this guy, Beltre, when they were little kids.
Beltre now 36 in his 19th Major League season. But anytime you do something that's never been done before, it's pretty special. We saw that in the 1st inning from the combination of Odor and Mazara. Some pretty impressive company. Most hits by a 3rd baseman in baseball history.
Well, he signed for a couple more years, got an extension through 2018. So that 3,000 number well within reach.
Beltre, the 3rd batter of the game following Odor and Mazara. He was not drilled by Bill Gullickson or Mike Pelfrey. Just foul.
And that's twice you've seen Beltre on 2 strike pitches, 0-2. Just keep those hands in, let the ball travel. Not going to be out in front of anything. Why don't you just let this ball get deep, pull the hands in. That way, if Pelfrey does throw that split, he's not committed early.
Deep right field. Martinez looks up. And it's a 2-run shot for Beltre. 3rd home run of the game for the Rangers. We are tied at 5.
And Kenny, that's how you put together a Hall of Fame career. Hitting just like that. You hear that phrase, professional hitter, tossed around a lot. Set up for this 2-strike splitter that stays up. Staying back again. Once again, that's a pitch designed to get a hitter out in front. And you saw the previous 2 pitches. Beltre was not going to commit. He was going to let the ball travel. Takes him out the other way. Oh, don't do that. You know he doesn't like that. Hit him on the head.
Career home run, number 417. That's a lot of attempts at his head, and that will be all for Mike Pelfrey. 24-year-old left-hander Kyle Ryan out of the Tigers' pen after Mike Pelfrey allowed 3 runs here in the 6th, allowing the Texas Rangers to tie the game. 11th appearance for Kyle Ryan. Earned run average under 2.
Got to look there why he's so tough on lefties. The crossfire delivery.
And fielder sends this one into left field. Upton makes the play for out number 1 of the inning.
And I'll go back to Pelfrey this inning. You know, 3 hits in a row, 2 of them on 0-2 counts. But once again, the starting pitcher, 3rd time around the lineup. It's a minefield getting through for most pitchers. That guy was in complete command the last few innings. Ground ball after ground ball.
And we had just mentioned after the back-to-back home runs to start the game, Pelfrey had faced only 1 batter above the minimum through the 5th inning. But in the 6th, 3rd time through the order, Odor singled to center. Mazzara with a run-scoring double. And then the Beltre 2-run homer. Desmond hit by the pitch, so he heads to first. As we head to Los Angeles, Kevin Burkhardt. All right, thanks, Kevin. Both teams looking up at the Cubs, who have lost only 6 of their first 28.
Still yet to lose 2 games in a row. 28 games into the season.
Mitch Moreland 1 for 2, grounded into a double play his last time up, as Ryan throws over once again.
Sure if Desmond over there wants to run or he just wants to be a distraction. He's dancing back and forth to draw that throw. Good snap throw by Ryan. Looks to me like Desmond's still trying to figure out the move there. He's back in time. Now that's why you keep the tag on. Replay has changed a lot of things about the way the game is played. One of the things that's changed, infielders keeping tags on the runners. All it takes is that millimeter of space between the spike and the bag. Get yourself an out.
Still only 1 out, top of the 6th inning. Rangers have come back from a 5-2 deficit to tie the game. Go to Moreland, and he stays alive. The best seats at every ballpark for every game. Visit MLB.com/tickets today. Elvis Andrus waiting on deck. Time called by the home plate umpire Alfonso Marquez.
By the way, Alfonso Marquez has a great story about how he got involved in umpiring. He was 12 years old, playing Little League ball, obviously. Hit a home run. Missed second base while running out the home run. The other team appealed. He was called out. The umpire called him out. This is one umpire calling a Little League game. So after the game, Alfonso went up to the umpire and he said, "How could you possibly have seen that?" And the umpire said, "Son, that's exactly what I'm trained to do. It's my job to make sure the runner touches all the bases." And that really just struck a chord with Alfonso. And from that day, he said, "I want to figure out what this is, this umpiring business, how much they get paid, what the opportunities are." And let me tell you, once he got into it, he came very quickly. And this is usually a much longer road than Alfonso Marquez took to get to the big leagues. Tells you how good he is. I mean, this is a real cat and mouse game going on. We usually talk about that with the hitter and the pitcher. Desmond doesn't look comfortable over there at first base. Looks like to me he's taking a one-way lead. He hasn't quite figured out Ryan. And Ryan's not letting him relax either.
Now 1-2. And Marquez, just 27 years of age when he worked his first major league game in 1999.
That's young.
The first ever Mexican-born umpire to make it to the major leagues. And he was inducted into the Mexican Baseball Hall of Fame in 2001. Moreland drills this one deep left center. It's the 4th home run of the game for the Rangers. A 2-run shot. Number 4 off the bat of Moreland. It is now 7-5 Texas.
And Desmond did run, and then he took off on a job. Ball left up. Boy, he's got tremendous power, Mitch Moreland. The front side even leaves a little bit, but keeps the hands back. That's not easy to leave out there left center field. It's a powerful man.
So that will be all for Kyle Ryan. Five runs in the inning for the Texas Rangers, as Elvis Andrus on the first pitch from Alex Wilson grounds out to the shortstop Iglesias, 29-year-old right-hander who pitched at Texas A&M, 9th appearance of the season for Wilson out of the Tigers' pen.
Hard sinker, real good cutter. Actually throws his cutter more than the sinker. Number that jumps out at you right there. 1 walk. That's it.
Brian Holiday 0 for 2.
A lot of 2-strike damage in this inning. The Texas Rangers, including 2 home runs.
Rangers had not hit more than 2 home runs in a game all season. They have 4 today. Mike Pelfrey, the Tigers starter, began this inning with a 5-2 lead.
Another start without a win for Mike Pelfrey.
Only 1 in his last 25.
His last win was last August.
Two to Holiday. And the inning finally comes to an end. The Rangers send 8 batters to the plate. Beltre went deep, as did Moreland. 7-5 Texas. TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you have come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-town market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Visit MLB.tv for details. Third pitcher of the game for the Texas Rangers is the 32-year-old right-hander, the longtime Seattle Mariner, Tom Wilhelmsen, making his 13th appearance of the season for the Rangers.
And then again, look at the walk total. 5 in 11 innings. A guy with a real power arm. You're starting to see it now. You get into this Texas bullpen, you start to see mid and upper 90s velocity. Command an issue for Wilhelmsen.
And Kinsler leads off. Hit a 2-run homer his last time up back in the 4th inning, which gave the Tigers a 5-2 lead. But the Rangers would score 5 in the top of the 6th inning. Kinsler, J.D. Martinez, and Miguel Cabrera for the Tigers here in the bottom of the 6th. Martinez waiting. He's 0 for 3 today. A 3-1 to Kinsler, full count.
A little surprised he took that pitch. 3-1 challenge fastball, and looked to me he was in take mode there. See if Wilhelmsen will throw a slider here. Oh, stay with the fastball away.
And Kinsler draws a leadoff walk.
It's got some kind of a different feel to it, doesn't it? Bannister brings in his power right-hander, gets into his bullpen, 2-run lead. Opens with a walk to Kinsler. Now getting into the power of this Detroit lineup.
So Kinsler on at first. He stole his 200th career base in last night's game. It's the 7th walk issued by Texas pitching today.
Here as a hitter, you just want a keyhole. Almost like it's 2-0, 3-0. Wilhelmsen having trouble finding the plate. Don't help him out. Look middle. Good take.
Martinez 0 for 3, struck out on the first, has grounded out twice.
Martinez, you know, when he's starting to get hot, when he powers the ball to right field, you can see where Mazzara plays. Look how deep he is to the opposite field. JT's got great power the other way when he's going well. When he's not, he's a little too pull happy.
38 home runs last season. 102 runs batted in.
And this is that slider. See his fingers get to the side of the baseball. It's got more downward tilt than it does side to side. The bite on that is more vertical than horizontal. That's a great pitch as long as you keep it down, start at the knees. But those sliders that don't go side to side, mostly go down, you throw it up in the hitting zone, becomes very hittable.
One and two on Martinez following the leadoff walk to Kinsler. Miguel Cabrera waiting on deck. Fastball missing inside, now 2-2.
Well, I think our friend Pudge Rodriguez wouldn't be too happy with Wilhelmsen right now, the way he's become so deliberate.
Andrews. 6-4-3. The Rangers turn 2 as we head to Los Angeles for a game break. Check in with Kevin Burkhardt. Kevin. Some things are hard to figure, right, Tom?
I'm telling you, it's a Rubik's Cube, and I know some people can solve those quickly, but not me. Watch this turn here by Odor. Now, he can hang in there now because he knows he's not at risk of being hit by the runner. I'll tell you, it's one thing Kenny did not anticipate. The fact that now, really without fear of getting hit, second baseman can hang in there longer, and we're seeing a ton of double plays. I mean, almost every double play now is a routine double play because we've essentially taken contact out of the equation. You know, in the old days, which would be last year,
right?
You know, if you saw Odor slide across the bag, the runner would veer. He would deviate his path and try to get a piece of Odor without even thinking about the baseball, about the bag. Now you have to go right towards that bag.
Here's Beltre. And that will do it for the Tigers in the 6th. Welcome back to Comerica Park in Detroit. Kenny Albert, Tom Verducci, top of the 7th inning. Texas Rangers with a 7-5 lead as Delino DeShields leads off against right-hander Alex Wilson. DeShields 0 for 2. He has grounded out twice. Four home runs in the game for the Rangers, a new season high. 2 in the 1st inning, 2 in the 6th.
Those 2 in the 6th inning again, coming on 2 strike counts. Big one by Beltre that chased Mike Pelfrey. 0-2.
The left-hander Justin Wilson in the Tigers' pen. Rougned Odor waiting on deck. A 2-2 to DeShield to the count is full. Payoff pitch to DeShields. Ball 4, so we mentioned that 7 Tigers have walked. That's the first walk issued by Tigers pitching today. As we take a look at the numbers between these clubs last season, not too many runs at Comerica Park, but different story today as Brad Ausmus heads back to the mound. And that will be all for Alex Wilson. It will be Justin Wilson, the left-hander, out of the Tigers' pen. Top of the 7th inning. The new pitcher for the Tigers, the 28-year-old left-hander Justin Wilson, on to face the top of the order, with DeShields on at first following a leadoff walk. Castellanos in on the grass at third. Rougned Odor takes strike 1. He led off the game with a home run. Struck out in the 3rd. Single, came around to score in the 6th.
Justin Wilson was a great pickup in a trade with the Yankees this offseason. He's been everything that they hoped. In fact, I talked to the GM Al Avila, and he said Justin's got closer stuff. They'd have no problem using him if circumstances dictate now or in the future in the closer's role. Here's Al.
Odor pops it into shallow left center. Coming out is Upton. What a way.
Whenever we see a player in the big leagues, we try to compare, who does he look like? Who does he play like? To me, this might surprise you. Nomar Mazara has a swing similar to Matt Carpenter of the Cardinals. Really good balance. They both start with very open stances. Matt finishes two-handed, Nomar with one hand. It's about the only major difference. But both of them have very good rhythm into the baseball from an open stance, step in, don't give ground at all to left-handers. And here's the last one I'll give you, comparing the two of those. Yeah, Matt Carpenter got to the big leagues. People thought he was a line drive hitter, an on-base machine. Well, he's become a 30-home run hitter. And I see the same thing in this guy right here. I'm gonna watch this guy take BP. He's got tremendous backspin on the ball. He's 6'5". He's got great leverage. He does have some leverage in the swing up to the baseball. He will translate into big power.
And when you brought up the name Matt Carpenter to Rangers manager Jeff Bannister, he smiled and said, "I've known Matt since he was 4. His dad, Rick, coached at my high school."
Yeah, I wasn't counting on that response. I figured Bannister, with his history with the Pirates, familiar with Matt Carpenter, the head-to-heads in the National League Central. He went back to when Matt was 4 years old. His father's a great high school baseball coach, Rick Carpenter.
And Jeff Bannister, the son of a very successful high school football coach in Texas.
Yeah, well, I'm partial to those kinds, being the son of a coach myself. Matt Carpenter, Jeff Bannister, they define what that means to be the son of a coach. You see the game from every perspective, not just your own, when you grow up in that environment.
The Shields goes, throw down to second. Is not in time, and the Shields has his 4th steal of the season.
They had a really good jump, and he caught Justin when he had the leg kick, not a slide step. Not much Salty can do here. Made a good throw.
So the Rangers with a runner in scoring position, 1 out. The 2-0 to Mazara, and he fouls it back. And you talk about the dichotomy between these two managers. Brad Ausmus, we mentioned earlier, 7th most games caught in Major League history. Jeff Bannister had 1 Major League at bat with the Pirates back on July 23rd, 1991. He pinch hit for Doug Drabeck in a game against the Atlanta Braves. He had an infield single off longtime Tiger pitcher Dan Petrie, who was with the Braves at the time, in Bannister's only Major League at bat.
And that was it, 1 for 1. The ultimate one and done. Talk about paying your dues. Spent a lot of years managing the minor leagues, coaching in the big leagues. A little bit of Joe Madden in that regard. By that I mean Joe Madden also had a similar track. Spent a lot of times in the minors and in the majors coaching. And when he became a manager, just hit the ground running. There was no learning curve. A lot of these guys go straight into managing. They're still learning how to do the job. Jeff Bannister did his managing and learning in the course of many years before this opportunity.
On the ground to the right side, Kinsler for out number 2. Jeff Bannister, 29 seasons in the Pittsburgh Pirates organization as a player, coach at both the major league and minor league levels. Made it to the postseason in his first year running the Rangers. First Texas Rangers manager who grew up in the state of Texas. Adrian Beltre with a blast. No doubt about that one. His 2nd home run in the last 2 innings, extending the Rangers lead to 9-5.
First pitch, fastball. Kaboom. Ambushed him. We saw the great two-strike approach to the opposite field for his first home run. It's an ambush job right there. I love this right here. I mean, this team plays with a lot of enthusiasm, but I also think it speaks to how popular this guy is, and they try to get his head. The game within the game.
Fifth home run of the game for Texas. Number 418 for Adrian Beltre. He's 49th all time, 8 behind the next man on the list, Billy Williams. Bounce to Kinsler, who is traded for Prince Fielder. 7th inning stretch time as his teammates aim for his head. A 2-home run game for Adrian Beltre. Seventh here in Detroit. Rangers out to a 9-5 lead thanks to 5 home runs off Texas bats. And the Rangers look to piece it together after their starter, A.J. Griffin, left after 2 2/3 due to right shoulder stiffness. This is Jake Diekman, the veteran left-hander. 4th pitcher of the day for the Rangers.
Yeah, his 15th game out of 31, so getting a lot of work, not a lot of innings, but certainly has been in a lot. You see the opponent's batting average. Doesn't matter right or left, he's just got filthy stuff. Long arm, crossfire delivery, high velocity, 97, 98.
Victor Martinez leads off for the Tigers. 0 for 2 with a walk. And Martinez with a base hit into left field. On the first pitch thrown by Diekman today. Justin Upton has walked his last 2 plate appearances, takes a called strike, 0-1. The 0-2. Upton strikes out for the second time, one away.
Oh, I said he's just as difficult as right-handers to figure out. He's got that crossfire delivery. Watch, this is where all the other pitchers have been landing, and Jake's going to be out over here. This is what we mean by a crossfire delivery. This is a neutral stride, and look how far out of neutral he's landing, and the arm will come around his body. That's just an extreme angle, a difficult angle for any hitter, especially left. But as you see here, trying to pick the ball up, Justin can't do it. Oh, by the way, he has got crazy long arms, an incredible wingspan for Jake Diekman. I once kidded with him. I said, there's no way you're buying your shirts off the rack, are you? He says, no, I've tried that. Extra long sleeves for this guy.
Castellanos drove it a pair back in the third inning. Falls behind 0-2. 5 Texas Ranger home runs. Back-to-back to start the game. 2 in the 6th, and then Beltre with his second of the day in the 7th inning. Tony Barnett in the Texas pen.
Well, this is a good bullpen the Rangers have. The stats don't show it yet this year. Been a little surprised how down it's been.
Back-to-back strikeouts for Diekman as we head to Los Angeles for another game break. Kevin. Well, the Texas Rangers certainly know what Kevin Pillar can do. They saw him firsthand in the American League Division Series last October. Here's Saltalamacchia. Walked and scored back in the 2nd inning.
Really, we saw that bullpen against Toronto for Texas. The additions of Diekman and Dyson, to me, really remade that team along with the Cole Hamels trade. I think this is going to be a very good bullpen.
Long run for Odor, and he's called off by Mazzara. And that will do it for the Tigers in the 7th. They trail the Rangers by 4. Ball with the MLB.com at Bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with Game Day. Live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. Fifth pitcher of the game for the Tigers, making his 14th appearance of the season. It's Drew Verhagen. Starter Mike Pelfrey pitched into the 6th. Had a 5-2 lead, but then allowed 3 runs before recording it out in the 6th inning.
Yeah, wheels fell off in a hurry in that inning. Rangers finding the long ball today.
They have hit 5. 2 on the first 9 pitches thrown by Pelfrey. Odor and Mazzara back-to-back in the first inning. Beltre and Moreland in the 6th. Beltre again in the 7th. The Rangers franchise record for home runs in a game is 8. They did it twice back in 2005. In a road game, it's 7, including a game here in Detroit in 2007. Desmond called out on strikes. 1 away. Beautiful day here in Detroit. What a renaissance in downtown Detroit. A look at the new hockey arena, Little Caesars Arena. The Tigers and Red Wings, of course, share an owner in Mike Ilitch. Little Caesars Arena scheduled to open in the fall of 2017, located just a couple of blocks from Comerica Park. A 20,000 seat arena, the cornerstone of the District Detroit, a $1.2 billion redevelopment that will include more than 200,000 square feet of office and retail space. We might even get you to catch a hockey game, Tom.
I like what you said there, that it's not just getting a new arena. You're talking about jobs, businesses, helping this economy. You can already see, as you saw there, the construction going on there. This will be a very busy area.
Moreland, left field, warning track Upton.
I want to know what they're going to call it, though. I know you said Little Caesars Arena, right?
That is the official name?
But we never call anything by their official names anymore, right? We always make up a nickname.
So what do you think?
I like the pizza oven.
Pizza oven.
The pizza oven.
Nice.
Yeah, what do you think?
You can always shorten it to the oven, right?
Yeah, I can make it the oven.
You and I have the opportunity to travel around the country, and I always love when the sports venues are all in one area, and that will be the case here in Detroit with Comerica, Ford Field, and Little Caesars. Of course, you think about Philadelphia. Similar situation as the Rangers are retired in order in the 8th. FS1 doubleheader continues next. The teams with the top 2 records in the National League square off. It's the Nationals and the Cubs coming up next on FS1, or watch it live on Fox Sports Go. 5th pitcher of the game for the Rangers, making his 14th appearance. The right-hander, Tony Barnett. Bottom of the 8th in Detroit, with the Rangers leading 9-5.
Signed out of Japan. Originally signed by the Arizona Diamondbacks out of Arizona State. Became a top flight closer in Japan last year. He gave up just 1 home run the entire season.
Pitched in Tokyo the last 6 years. 41 saves last year. Born in Anchorage, Alaska. Attended Arizona State University and then drafted by the Diamondbacks. Base hit into right field off the bat of Anthony Goes. His 2nd hit today. Our game summary sponsored by Budweiser. 5 home runs for the Rangers. Ian Kinsler with a 2-run shot for the Tigers. Beltre with his 28th career multi-home run game. Rangers with a season high 5. 2 teams have hit 6 home runs in a game this season, both in the National League. The Mets did it against the Phillies, and the Cardinals against the Reds, both back in April. So the Rangers tie the American League high. Here's Iglesias, who had a 9-pitch at bat his last time up. This time on the first pitch. High throw. So Iglesias will reach 1 away here in the bottom of the 8th.
It looked like Andrews to me. I don't know whether he let this drop intentionally, but this is a broken bat. It gets him much softer, I think, than he thought. Yeah. Steps back and loses the shot at 2 again. Iglesias gets down the line really well. And now, yep, take a step back, make sure you get a good hop, and who needs a glove? I'm not sure that ball ever went in Elvis's glove.
So with 1 away and Iglesias on at first, here's Kinsler. Now, it's an unfair comparison because Prince Fielder missed so much time due to injury. Kinsler has played over 100 more games than Prince since the trade. But who would have thought that Kinsler would have more home runs than Fielder after they were traded for one another? Kinsler with a base hit into right center. His 2nd hit of the game. 1st and 2nd for the Tigers, who are threatening here in the 8th.
Yeah, I'm not so sure it's that unfair. I get it. You can't predict injuries, but give a guy credit. Like Kinsler, he's done a great job keeping himself in shape and healthy and productive. Obviously, Prince had that serious neck surgery. Kept him out virtually an entire season.
He played in only 42 games in 2014. A look at their numbers since the trade. Kinsler has played in 112 more games than Prince Fielder. This is Brad Holman heading out to the mound. He's the acting pitching coach today because Doug Brocail is attending his daughter's graduation at Texas Christian University. So congratulations to the Brocail family. Two on, only 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Sam Dyson up in the Rangers pen.
Well, it's a hard thing to do when your starter leaves, in this case because of an injury to A.J. Griffin. Before the 3rd inning is over, you have so many innings to cover, so many relievers to use. It is a constant battle. Last time the Rangers won a game, getting less than 3 innings from a starter, May of last year, May 25th.
J.D. Martinez, fair ball. Throw to second and then out to first, double play.
Yeah, Brett House was going to come out here, and I think Alfonso Marquez got screened here. The ball originally landed fair and had a little bit of backspin on it. I'm not sure when Holiday got it, it was in play. Lands in fair territory. Let's see when he grabs the baseball. You know, it's tough for Marquez to see that ball. And watch it backspin when it hits the ground. And it looked like a fair ball.
So that will end the inning, and we head to the ninth in Detroit. We look forward to the second game of our doubleheader. Cubs and Nationals, as we take you back to the double play turned by the Rangers in the bottom of the eighth.
That's a great play by Brian Holiday. The way he got out there so quickly. And that ball was on the chalk when he picked it up. It's because he jumped out there so quickly. Remember, those plays are not reviewable. Fair or foul between the plate and the bag.
And now it's Holiday leading off for the Rangers in the top of the ninth. Texas with a 9-5 lead.
See it bounce on the chalk and grabs it. I think it's still right there. Again, his hustle on that play, getting out so quickly, made it play.
The 0-2 to Holiday. Rangers have scored 8 of their 9 runs today, Tom, via the home run. The only other run they scored, an RBI double off the bat of Mazara in the 6th inning. Odor and Mazara have combined to score 4 runs. They've driven in 3. Mark Lowe, the 6th pitcher of the day for the Tigers. The starter, Mike Pelfrey, pitched into the 6th. 1-2 from Lowe to Holiday. Bounces off the wall. Holiday on his way to third. And he is in standing.
Big center field here, and Holiday uses every part of it. Two-seam fastball up. Great swing, head right on the baseball, stays on it through contact. This ball just really carried on Ghost. Ran a long way for it, actually shaded over towards left field. Just runs out of room. Just can't get there. A lot of triples in this ballpark.
As you saw, first triple of the season for Holiday, the fourth triple for the Rangers. Elvis Andrus has the other three.
See where the infield defense can set up. Infield in, but not all the way in. You've got the catcher running at third base there. You can play back just a little more, not in all the way on the grass.
DeShields takes a called strike on the outside corner, 1-1. Rangers with 10 hits today, only 3 singles, 7 extra base hits, 5 home runs, a double, and now the triple from Holiday. Right field off the bat of DeShields. Catch is made by Martinez. Coming home easily to score is Holiday. And the Rangers extend their lead to 10-5. Sacrifice fly, RBI number 7 for Delino DeShields. So the Texas Rangers with a 5-1 victory last night, sending the Tigers to their 4th straight defeat. Now with 10 runs on 10 hits.
And you should see a big swing right here from Rougned Odor.
There it is, nothing in
There
one.
it is. I tell you, this guy just loves to hit the long ball. I watch this guy take BP, and it's like watching a cleanup hitter take BP. He just doesn't want to hit home runs. He wants to hit them to places where ballparks weren't designed to hold home runs. I mean, he goes after it. There's no question. There are a lot of great hitters in this Texas lineup. They do it different ways, but if you're talking pure bat speed, it's number 1 right here in the lineup. The little guy, Odor. It was funny, I was watching him before he came up to the plate, Kenny, and him and Mazzara, they actually tapped their bats like guys crossing swords before going into a duel. They got something going on, these two, the 2 youngsters at the top of the lineup.
Kinsler to first for out number 2. Time now for the Gatorade Cool Under Pressure moment. As Mazzara steps to the plate. Rangers with 5 home runs, accounting for 8 of their 10 runs today. And in case you joined us late, Odor and Mazzara started the game with back-to-back home runs. First time in history, first time in the history of Major League Baseball that 2 players 22 or younger led off a game with back-to-back home runs. You never know what you might see on any given day, Tom, when you head to the ballpark.
The kids are all right. Cool under pressure. To me, that defines this guy here, Mazzara. I mean, it's remarkable to think he just turned 21 last month. And they're going to have to find a way to keep him in the lineup. Shin-Soo Choo has been working out with the team, should be back in another week or 2 from a calf injury.
Popped up to the right side. We head to the bottom of the ninth in Detroit. The new center fielder for the Rangers finished last season with Texas, began this season with the Braves, re-signed today. And here he is in center field to make room for Stubbs on the active roster. Alex Claudio, the left-handed reliever, has been optioned to AAA as Miguel Cabrera leads off for the Tigers. Here in the bottom of the ninth, they trail by 5. Base hit right field. 4th single of the game for Cabrera.
Makes it look easy, doesn't he? You know how I can tell Drew Stubbs is new to the Rangers? He does not have a beard. He's the first guy in this game, and they've used, what, 5 pitchers, who's not been bearded.
Give him time. Miguel Cabrera has more singles than the Rangers today.
Problem for the Tigers, though. They left 9 runners on base. Lacking, they had the 1 home run by Kinsler, but the real damage with the extra base hits.
Rangers have left only 1 man on base today. They have scored 10 runs, 8 via the home run. Here's Victor Martinez. With his 4 singles, Miguel Cabrera has raised his batting average 24 points today, going from 262 to 286. Martinez singled his last time up. Takes a called strike from Barnett, now 1-1.
You've heard of the House of David, right? The barnstorming team about 100 years ago. Renowned for their beards. It's a modern day version, the Texas Rangers.
Well, it is hockey playoff time. You've heard about playoff beards. If you get a chance, check out Joe Thornton of the San Jose Sharks and his beard. The Rangers players might be jealous.
Well, I blame the 2013 Red Sox for this trend. You know, the hockey thing's been going on for a long time. Postseason. No razors allowed. And that hairy bunch of lunatics from the 2013 Red Sox won the World Series became the cool thing in baseball.
A reminder, the Cubs and Nationals are coming up next on FS1. You can check out the game now on MASN, CSN Chicago, and Fox Sports Go. And then we will take you there following the conclusion of the Tigers and the Rangers. Bottom of the ninth, nobody out. Cabrera the runner on first. 2-2 to Martinez. And the count is full.
There is another professional hitter. Hits by direction. He hits the right field like a left-hander does. With damage, too, by the way. 4 singles today, but seeing him leave out opposite field very often.
Payoff pitch to Martinez, and he's down on strikes. Here's Justin Upton. He has struck out twice and walked twice today.
Tony Barnett is not your typical relief pitcher. Throws 6 different pitches. That's hard to do when you're really not facing hitters a second time. Just don't get a chance to use all of your stuff.
0-2 on Upton.
So as a hitter, you're facing a relief pitcher. You get one look at him. Got 6 different pitches to cover. The slider down and away.
Castellanos on deck. 1 out, bottom of the 9th inning. And Upton strikes out for the 3rd time today. So now the Tigers are down to their final out. Following a 5-game win streak. Detroit now 1 out away from losing their 5th in a row.
This offense just has not gotten untracked. 8 runs and the 4 losses coming into today, and today plenty of runners on base. Not doing nearly enough with the opportunities.
Castellanos with a base hit into left field. 2nd hit of the inning for the Tigers. And the 2nd hit today for Castellanos.
Another first pitch base hit. Again, the pitch is in the zone. A guy who last season would chase early in counts. Maintained his aggressiveness, but added some selectivity. Smarter hitter becomes a better hitter.
Saltalamacchia 0 for 3 with a walk. 1st and 2nd, 2 away.
Slow curveball there from Barnett. This guy can hit so many different numbers on the radar gun between all of his pitches. He can get it up as high as 94, 95.
Two and two. Tigers down to their final strike. Payoff pitch to Saltalamacchia, and he draws a walk. Bases loaded here in the bottom of the ninth inning.
He just created a save situation. Get the tying run now on deck.
The 8th walk issued by Rangers pitching, and that will be all for Barnett. Kenny Albert, Tom Verducci, bottom of the ninth, 10-5 Texas with the lead. For those of you awaiting the Nationals and Cubs, they are underway. You can catch it on Masson, CSN Chicago, and Fox Sports Go. And we will join Joe Buck and John Smoltz at the conclusion of this game. Sean Tolleson tied for the American League lead with 9 saves. Comes in with the bases loaded, 2 outs, bottom of the ninth inning. Ball 1 to Anthony Goes.
So all he needs to do is get 1 out before 5 runs score, and he gets a save.
That's it.
That's all you need to know about the save stat.
Remember, the Rangers added a run at the top of the ninth, and that could prove to be a very important run. Ball 2. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Ball 3.
He might be taking 2 pitches right here.
The 3-0 from Tollison. 3-1.
Rangers lost their starting pitcher in the 3rd inning to an injury. Have walked 8 batters. Still a 5-run lead.
Three and 2. Playoff pitch from Tollison is fouled off with the runners on the move. The pitch from Tollison, another foul.
Good battle right here. Tollison does have an extremely good changeup, but I'd still be surprised if he threw it. With room to spare here against Anthony Gose. Stick with the challenge fastballs, locate it well.
8th pitch of the at-bat. And that will do it. Tollison picks up his 10th save. The Tigers strand, the bases loaded. They leave 12 men on in the game. Detroit loses their 5th straight. For Tom Verducci and our entire crew, this is Kenny Albert. To the Cubs and the Nationals in Chicago with Joe Buck and John Smoltz.